Hello to all our viewers in Nigeria and welcome to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. On Global Television News Express, federal government battles Boko Haram resurgence in Northeast. In business, custom intercepts 1.5 billion worth of contraband in 2 weeks. And on the foreign scene, Elon Musk slams Trump's spending bill as disgusting abomination. In sports, Liverpool to begin Osimhen's negotiation. Now the news in details. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, has revealed that the resurgence of Boko Haram in the northeast, particularly in Borno State, is part of the insurgents' renewed efforts to destabilize the Sahel states of Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic. He, however, says the federal government is dealing with a challenge, adding that the Nigerian armed forces had gained momentum in recent weeks, eliminating a good number of insurgents. Speaking to journalists shortly after he toured military facilities, the minister highlighted the importance of both kinetic and non-kinetic approaches in addressing security challenges in the country. The Katsina State Police Command has announced the deployment of comprehensive security arrangements to safeguard lives and property during and after the forthcoming Eid al-Kabir celebrations across the state. This was disclosed in a statement released by the Police Command's Public Relations Officer, DSP Abubakar Sadiq, made available to newsmen today in Katsina. The chairperson at the local government area of Lagos State, Surah Animashuan, has suspended the installation of the new Olu of Ebe. Animashuan, who also was suspended all Eid al-Kabir celebration and Jumat prayer in the local council's central mosque and Eid ground, made this known in a letter addressed to the community's Grand Chief Imam. According to her, after the demise of immediate Oluebe of Ebe Kingdom, Oba Shefiu Adewale, 2 popular chiefs in the community, Chief Adeniyi Kadir Odedeboro and Chief Iskilu Olajide Ikuforiji, have been parading themselves as successors. Deputy Senate President, Senator Barau Jibril in Kano, had paid a condolence visit to the families of 22 athletes who died in a motor accident. The families of late athletes received Barau and his entourage at the Wagwara Jumas Mosque in Nasarawa local government area of the state. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ismail Madashir, Barau described the incident as tragic and announced a donation of 1 million naira to each of the deceased families. Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Engineer Professor Joseph Tarumun Usef, has expressed deep concern over the recent flood incident in Mokwa, which claimed the lives and displaced residents on May 29, 2025. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja, the minister emphasized that the flood was not due to releases from Kayenji and Ojeba dams, both of which remain safe. Instead, it resulted from extreme rainfall linked to climate change, worsened by blockade waterways due to unregulated buildings. Priscilla Obasi completes the story. The Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation has addressed the nation on the flood incident across the country, clarifying the cause of the recent flood in Mokwa, Niger State, while restating early flood warnings issued in April. The minister commended the immediate response efforts of the Niger State government, local authorities, and first responders who have been working tirelessly to provide relief and support to the victims. He stated that technical personnel from the ministry, Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, Upper Niger River Basin Development Authority, and National Water Resources Institute are currently on ground in Mokwa assessing the situation to produce a detailed report.
This opportunity to re-echo the key warnings and recommendations from the 2025 annual flood outlook. We have urged and we are still urging states and local governments to act on these early warnings by one, strengthening drainage infrastructure, relocating vulnerable communities from flood plains, engaging in sustained public awareness campaigns, and enforcing land use regulations to prevent encroachment into flood-prone areas.
Professor Usev emphasized that part of the issue is the encroachment of floodplains by residents who were previously advised not to settle in such areas. He stressed that flooding can be prevented through proper urban planning and the provision of adequate drainage infrastructure.
Weather events, including intensive rainfall and river flooding, are becoming more frequent and severe across the country and globally. These events not only disrupt livelihoods, they also challenge the resilience of our infrastructure and environment. As a ministry, we remain fully committed to our mandate of monitoring, managing the nation's water resources in a sustainable and climate-resilient manner.
The ministry had earlier predicted flooding in 19 local government areas of Niger State, including Mokwa, through its 2025 annual flood outlook. Communities across 33 states, including the FCT, are identified as high-risk zones, with the minister calling for stronger drainage systems, relocation of vulnerable population, and stricter enforcement of land use laws. Priscilla Obasi, Global Television. Cross River State Governor Senator Obasi Otu has received a comprehensive 7-year strategic development plan designed to enhance the production and export of cocoa, coffee, and oil palm. The plan, developed by the state's multi-stakeholder Committee on Strategic Plan Development, was presented alongside a revised produce law report. The roadmap outlines a vision for the state to become a sustainable, traceable, and globally competitive hub for agricultural exports, aligning with international standards for quality and accountability. At the presentation in Calabar, the governor described the plan as a vital tool for economic revitalization and emphasized the administration's focus on agricultural transformation as a key driver of sustainable growth. Following the suspected herdsmen attack that left several people dead in 2 communities in Benue State, Governor Hyacinth Alia, in company of all security heads in the state, have paid an on-the-spot assessment visit to them. The communities are Naka in Gwe West and Akbali Ediku in Akba local government area of the state. Governor Alia assured the public that the spat of attacks would come to an end soon. Felicity Ndere has the details.
Communities in Benue State continues to suffer from attacks by armed assailants suspected to be Fulani herders. These assaults have claimed numerous lives and displaced thousands, with the forest linking Naka and Ankpali Adiku often serving as an escape route for the attackers. The governor's visit aimed to commiserate with the affected communities, where 19 people were reportedly killed in Naka and 10 in Ankpali Adiku. In Naka, the Tenagi chief Abunse lamented the growing number of displaced persons and the continued loss of lives.
They have taken over Naka Makudi Road. We demand for 4 points to be properly manned by armed security personnel at Atingila, at Teabua, at Yolaha, and at Imande on Makudi Naka Access Road, where these banditry attacks do come. Even yesterday, that was the axis they came through.
Chairman of Gwe West Local Government, Victor Omim, while commending government efforts to eradicate insecurity in the state, emphasized that the safety of Gwe West remains their top priority.
I still assure you that by God's grace, it will not go beyond this. I have the assurances of the service chiefs here and the security heads and the governor himself that everything will be brought under control by the grace of God.
In Ankpali Adiku, an eyewitness recounted that the attack occurred around 4:30 p.m. on Sunday, catching residents off guard. 10 people were killed, while several others sustained injuries and are currently receiving treatment in the hospital.
Even the police in the Atodugbo and the soldiers there, we call on them. None of them were able to come because of the kind of gun. Those people were well fortified. Some of them we were able to discover some of the Fulanis. We know, we run things with them. We welcome them when they came. We welcome them, we do everything with them. We show them that cordiality. There were more than 100 and something, well armed.
Traditional rulers and other community members also shared their concerns.
We have been experiencing this kind of attack since the beginning of this year and even last year. But we thank God today from the assurance the governor have given to us that he will make sure all the villagers return back to their communities. But we also appeal to His Excellency to please help us because the presence of the military in Apa local government is not helping us. And we ask for His Excellency to please come to our aid by maybe caution or withdraw the presence of the military in Apa local government.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police has assured the communities of full security from all the security agencies.
We are leaving enough logistics, we are leaving enough personnel, we are taking cognizance of all the areas that His Royal Highness has mentioned and other interests we got. We are moving around and we are going to take the appropriate action because definitely the assailants must be arrested.
Governor Hyacinth Alia, represented by his Chief of Staff, Paul Biam, expressed deep sorrow over the loss of lives. He also voiced optimism that peace will soon return, stating that critical security measures are being intensified.
It is quite disturbing to see the level of damage that has been done in these communities. The people have been sacked from their villages. We have also met a couple of them and appeal to them to be very calm and understanding. As we go back to Makurdi, there have been some series of requests from the residents, spanning from creating security posts and also ensuring that other strategic steps are taken to ensure that this kind of situation does not occur.
The on-the-spot assessment took the delegation through Naka Ingwe West and Ankpali Adiku in Apa local government areas of Benue State. Felicity Ndere, Global TV News, Makurdi.
An outbreak of diphtheria has been confirmed in Edo State, resulting in 2 fatalities. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Cyril Oshomole, revealed this in Benin, the state's capital, during an emergency response meeting. The action followed confirmation from the University of Benin Teaching Hospital of 5 diphtheria cases, including 2 deaths. Despite the availability of pedestrian bridges in parts of Abuja, many residents continue to cross busy highways at great risk to their lives. Our correspondents went to some major locations in the city to get public reactions on why these bridges are being ignored. Here's the report.
This is Abuja. And all over the city, the federal government has created pedestrian bridges. But it is no longer a secret that a lot of countrymen will prefer to cross the major road other than using the pedestrian bridges as provided by the government. The question is, why are Nigerians not using pedestrian bridges? And how can we charge a new course in order to change this old paradigm? I am Godwin Sunday. Join me as we feel the pulse of Nigerians even on the streets.
I think one of the main reasons for me why most Nigerians will not like using this pedestrian bridge. You know, an average African will like shortcuts very, very well. So sometimes they feel crossing the road and then jumping is easier. But then it is dangerous. There was something that happened in my presence sometimes about 2 years ago. I was driving from the town down to Lugbe, where a vehicle knocked someone directly in my presence. I saw it live. I know if the person had used that particular pedestrian bridge, that thing wouldn't have happened to the person. And I know that one is just one amongst hundreds that have been knocked down from crossing this particular road like this. So I believe if we encourage people, and just like the previous speaker said, if we apply penalty to some of these people that cross the road indiscriminately, I think some of these things will stop.
Can you even say what will have caused it is number one is laziness. Apart from laziness is that some people uncareful attitude of people, they don't obey the law. The law says you should climb the pedestrian bridge, and government should do more. Like Trademont, they're supposed to put another one. But those people that they are law offenders, whoever that sees bridge like this and decide to follow, it's illegal.
Once you have the available thing that you are supposed to do and you are doing the wrong thing, anything that happens to you is at your own risk.
At first, I would say it's a mentality that is caused by societal decadence. That with time, people have developed this disobedient attitude to disobey things, and sometimes they do it at the detriment of their own life. So it's simple. If you are sane, you see a pedestrian bridge, the first thing you do, you use it. That is why it is there.
The government that built this, they did it to help the masses. Instead of crossing and waiting for vehicle for ages, you make use of it. You save your life. You save your time. You save the drivers too from accident and from anything that may occur that is not good. You know, using pedestrian is not punishment. It's a means to save life.
Use the bridge to avoid getting killed on the road, and it's for my safety also. And it's more comfortable than crossing over the sidewalks and everything.
There are some things that government need to impose on the citizens who are not educated. It is the duty of the government to make someone who does not climb the bridge to know that it's an offense. Because if there's any casualty now.
Well, the conversations around using the pedestrian bridge cannot be overemphasized. We encourage you to please use the pedestrian bridge wherever you find one in order to safeguard your life. I am Godwin Sunday for Global Television News.
A landlord at Unity Estate, Alabole Akute, narrowly escaped death when a telecommunication mast fell on his building during the heavy rainfall, damaging some sections of the house. The landlord, who was said to have been in the house when the mast fell, sustained minor injuries from the accident and is now in stable condition after being treated by medical personnel. Responding to the incident, the Commissioner of Police, CP Larry Ogunlowo, has issued a directive for heightened awareness and public sensitization across the state to avert a reoccurrence of this accident. You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, Custom intercepts 1.5 billion naira worth of contraband in 2 weeks. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now we go to the business news. The Federal Operations Unit, Zone A, of the Nigerian Customs Service intercepted 46 contraband goods worth 1.5 billion naira in 2 weeks of operation. Comptroller Mohammed Shoibu revealed this at a media briefing on the unit's recent activities held in Ikeja. He said the seizures followed the successes record just 3 weeks after he resumed leadership of the unit in April 23rd. Within 2 week period, the unit recovered 48.34 million naira through demand notices issued for improperly declared to harness all revenue components to recover losses from evaders. The federal government, in collaboration with the Food and Agricultural Organization, has unveiled a 200 million naira support initiative to boost aquaculture in Nigeria. This initiative is also expected to help meet the country's annual fish demands. Wellington Omorabon, Director of Fisheries and Aquaculture at the Federal Ministry of Marine and Liquid, held at the Eriwe Fish Farming Cluster in Odubolu, Ogun State. Represented by Paul Obama, Director 2 at the Ministry, Omorabon said the initiative aims to promote the sustainability of Nigeria's fisheries resources. The Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has assured the chiefs of Baduma and Guzape communities of the territory of adequate compensation over the ongoing road construction projects. The minister gave the assurance at the meeting with the traditional chiefs and representatives of the Baduma and Guzape communities in the Federal Capital Territory. Our correspondent, Godwin Sunday, reports.
The FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, in a strategic meeting with the traditional chiefs and representatives of the Baduma and Guzampe communities in the Federal Capital Territory, reiterated that every affected individual will be duly compensated and the right of occupancy for new resettlement areas will be provided without delay. The minister, however, clarified that the compensation will be paid for only the structures along the road corridor and not the entire community. He also directed that the compensation package should be doubled to ensure fairness.
So, I've told the Director of Settlement, go and make valuation, but the rate people are using is too small, right? Increase their rate. If they're using 50 naira, give them 100 naira. Do you understand me? Then call director to get land for them. For those who are funded, not the whole community, it's just those on the corridor, on the road, not the entire community. Until when we want to talk about community, we know, but this one just on the road corridor, so that we are not pushing out everybody. So don't say I said no, I'm not doing that now. But let the road link up, so that we know that we have the development.
In response, the traditional leaders of Baduma and Guzape, led by Sapai of Gariki, Alhaji Usman Ngab Kupi, expressed their appreciation to the FCT minister for his transparency and willingness to engage them directly.
Minister of FCT, we want to thank God and want to appreciate you at this moment. Why I say all this is because we have never had a minister that brought his people close to him. You are the only one. Any other one is counterfeit. We are happy we have been praying for you. And I want to tell you clearly that we are in support of what they are doing 100%. It's our community and everybody wants to go.
The meeting ended on a positive note, with both parties committing to an ongoing dialogue and collaborating to ensure a smooth and respectful transition for all affected families. Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television News.
I'll go to the foreign scene. Iranian, Egyptian, and United Nations leaders have met in Cairo to discuss Iran's nuclear program after the United Nations Nuclear Watchdog Agency said Iran is further increasing its stockpile of uranium enriched to near weapon-grade levels. Rafael Mariano Grossi, Director General of the Vienna-based International Atomic Energy Agency, said the agency compiled its reports as Iranian uranium enrichment is an ongoing concern for the IAEA's Board of Governors. Amidst negotiations between the Trump administration and Iran over a political nuclear deal, Israel is preparing a possible strike of Iranian nuclear facilities. And now in sports, Super Eagles star Ademola Lookman has described his decision to switch international allegiance from England to Nigeria as one of the most defining choices of his football career. the 2024 CAF African Football of the Year, said choosing to represent Nigeria changed everything for him, both personally and professionally. That decision has coincided with a dramatic rise in his profile, culminating in a historic Europa League final hat-trick against Bayer Leverkusen, which helped Atlanta win their first ever European title. The Confederation of African Athletes will commence its Olympic Talent Identification Initiative in Abeokuta at the 2025 African Under-18 Under-20 Championship after partnering with Worldwide Scholarship. According to Athletics Africa, the partnership between the CAA and WSS will officially begin at the CAA Under-18 Under-20 Championship in Nigeria, which will serve as the starting point for identifying emerging athletic talent across the continent. The third edition of the CAA Africa Under-18/Under-20 Combined Championship, now scheduled for 16 to 20 July 2025, was originally set to take place in Oran, Algeria, before being moved to Abeokuta due to logistical issues, and is expected to attract over 500 young athletes from across the continent. As we end the news, we take a recap of our stories on Global Television News Express. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaro, has revealed that the resurgence of Boko Haram in northeast, particularly in Borno State, is part of the insurgents' renewed efforts to describe the Sahel states of Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger Republic. In business, we told you the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, an agency of the federal government, says Nigeria's push towards alternative transportation has attracted over $500 million investment and converted more than 50,000 vehicles to run on compressed natural gas within this year. And on the foreign scene, Elon Musk has publicly condemned President Donald Trump's proposed spending bill, calling it an outrageous, pork-filled, disgusting abomination, just days after his White House advisory role. And in sports, we told you German Bundesliga outfit Bayer 04 Leverkusen has announced that teenage midfielder Francis Onyeka has put paper to paper on a new 3-year contract extension. And that is it on Global Television News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channels 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen at Global TV NG. You can also download the Global TV Nigerian app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Priscilla Obasi. Thank you for watching.